Hello, welcome. It's been very great for me to be here. Yesterday was very inspiring, all the talks with all the great people. And thank you, Medet, for the nice introduction. For the last 10 years, I've been spending a lot of time checking new websites, new projects, new digital products. And for the last 5 to 6 years, I've been also actively evaluating them. And here is what I notice. Once in a while, a project comes along that stops you in your tracks. That sparks emotions and still stays in your memory. One project that I will never forget, I don't know if anybody remembers, it is quite old, almost 14 years ago, but just look at it, how relevant it is, still it is. It is one of the first application of single-page scrollable websites. It was so daring and so good at that time, and it's still today it looks relevant. And to understand how good it was, this was the state of the internet at that time. But for every single such a website, there are others, that thousands actually, that just blur together. They are nice, like this website, but they are all the same nice. And it is not just product websites like this. It is banking, accommodation, and sadly, even creative portfolios sometimes. But don't mistake my talk for let's do these crazy designs to put on our portfolios and go crazy. I'm not here to make that case. Because the truth is, today we have all these out-of-the-box platforms that almost for everything. If you want to start any company, any startup, you can go zero to market right away. Besides that, there are all these crazy toolings. Especially Penpot is one of those toolings that will give immense power to individuals and companies to just start and go to market fast. But my argument here is that speed alone is not enough oftentimes. Because if we go back to the basics and look at brands, why do we even have brands? Brands exist to help us bring things into our lives. And if every product looks similar, then why to choose any product? Why to choose any brand? And if choice fades away, with it, loyalty will fade away. And I believe we are in such a time that the perceived value, at least the perceived value of craft, is at all-time low. But especially here, I think we have this opportunity because people like you who care to come this early in the morning and meet together to have these conversations, I believe that you, the creatives, the developers, have the tools, have the insight to find those spots, those right moments to bring to the brands, to make them relevant and memorable again, to make them feel alive. My name is Alaa Alnuaimi, and I am equally designer and developer, I would say. I was born in Iraq, where I studied pharmacy. 10 years ago, I started my design studio in Istanbul, a small team that is focused on craft. We had the chance to work with the biggest brands in Turkey and also some global brands like Nike, New Balance, Beko, and so on. From those projects that we did, the studio grew up to become this most awarded studio in Turkey still today. not because of our size or our scale, but because how much we cared about the details. Medet was with me in that journey. Later, I moved to Amsterdam and joined Hexaware, a big company with tens of thousands of workers. But again, I have my small team, where I am doing the same things, trying to make brands relevant. Now the projects got bigger, the scale got bigger. We are building banks from branding to a product that people can use, but still the focus is the same. Nowadays, I'm settled in a small village, beautiful village in the south of Netherlands, and I very much enjoy it. For almost 15 years now, I've worn many hats and titles. And even now, when I'm talking with people and people are asking me what you do, I'm confused what to say, because trying to sense the air, if they are developer, I would say developer. If they are designer, I would say designer. But since Laura's speech yesterday, I think I like the idea of unicorn, so I'm going to go with that next time. Because I really still enjoy doing optimizing a render function loop or designing an icon, spending an hour to design an icon. Both make me happy. Now, for disruptive projects, there are three elements that are important, I think, for a project to become disruptive. A good enough idea, great execution, and the right stage. And by stage, I mean the brand endorsement, or the timing, the spotlight that makes that project become this disruptive project. And this last part, this stage, is often not in our control. That's why I am here to talk about what we can control. How brave we can be with our ideas, how we can work together, and how much craft can we put in the details of our work. I believe my talk is very much in line with Gloria's talk from yesterday, also with Laura's. But today, I'm going to show you examples. Who doesn't like examples? Thank you. So, start with the first one, experimenting. Now, for me, experimenting was never been about trying a new tool. It was about creating these small challenges, setting small deadlines that push me to grow. Before I start my studio, I made a deal with myself that every 6 months I would learn something new. But there was one rule. You can learn something new, but there is one rule. Is that it is not done until I share something online, finished or not. Just put it outside. And this last part is very important, because once you put it online, it stops staying this thing in your sandbox. It becomes a signal. And the signal, the right people will see that signal, will catch that signal, and they will find it. So this rhythm, 6 months, one experiment, one public result, was the most valuable habit of my career, I would say. To give you an example, once I read in a book about language, how fascinating language is, that these abstract shapes, which we call letters, when they come in a certain sequence, they form these words, and then they convey meaning that trigger emotion and feeling within us. So I was experimenting with this vector graphic tool. So I decided to make this clock, which there is a pool of letters that are meaningless. Then every 30 seconds it will grab those letters and will tell the time. Later I wanted to make this a little bit, take it further, to make it more abstract. Now I designed this font from only 12 shapes that are repeating. Now when you type in the keyboard, The code will just pull the shapes, create the words, the letters first, the words, and then the sentences. All the while I was posting these online, then I tried with camera gestures, used it in a website layout. I used some 3D version of it and so. And this is what happened. It was back in the height of COVID times. Remember those days? I got an email from two artists from LA, and it turns out that this creative team was working with a fashion brand to create this artwork to be presented in London Fashion Week. And as it was COVID, digital art, digital fashion was in, the stage was set for that. And they were looking for a creative developer. And my experiments catch their attention. That's why they can, especially this experiment catch their attention, and they contacted me. I ended up with this team. They were assembling this global team, and I ended up on that team, and we started creating this digital art. The team was making wonders all over the world. There were styling and photography involved. There were some very early uses of AI distortion and hallucination, they were called it those days. There was some performance art that is involved, some 3D renders, 3D interactions, even some hidden QR codes that would link to Instagram filters and so. And it turned to become this very one of the most interesting briefs and objectives that I've worked on. And it created quite the buzz. In this project, I was part of this diverse global team, and my focus was creative coding, 3GS, shaders, and so on. Which brings me to my next principle, which is working together. Usually when I hear collaboration and listen to what people are talking about, it is mostly talking about working together. But in my mind, collaboration is about having flexibility to let go of your hat, to change hats within the team. In one project, I could be the creative director, setting the experience, the tone, the story, and in another one, I could be just the front-end developer, deep down in the code, trying to perfect one transition. And that's okay. Actually, that is the meaning of collaboration for me. Because the best projects that I worked with weren't, the team wasn't obsessed with protecting their titles, but protecting the idea. When I joined the Amsterdam team, we got this brief. One of our art directors actually got this brief from this new design agency. They called themselves like New Generation Agency, where fashion, music, gaming, influencer culture all merged together. And they wanted to create this website. We came up with this. They wanted a powerful visual website, and we came with this idea. They don't have still the work to fill their portfolio, to show their capability. So we came with this idea that we were going to create a 3D experience out of the logo itself, where there are all these cubes that represent different services that they are making. From one side, you will look at it and it will look random, and then when the camera moves away, you will see the silhouette of the logo. I was overseeing design, and normally when you are designing, you have an idea, you design the screens, then you give it to development, and that's how it goes, and you get this feedback loop. But in this project, for example, collaboration was so crucial because the design couldn't move away. It was dependent on the result of the development. So they were all interconnected. We started creating these cubes. I was working on transition, some shaders and SVG animations to see what we can do. And we had this constant fast feedback loop from ideation, client input, to 3D modeling, to coding, to designing, all at the same time, all at once. In the end, we could manage to make the website. The transitions were there, the boxes were there, they were optimized for the for web use. But then it looked not right. It looked very ugly, not impressive. It wasn't what we imagined in our minds. And here comes the diversity of the team, how important it is. We had this one person who has background in film, and he was mentioning about this idea how directors would reference famous paintings to create these scenes that are very memorable in movies. They call it art mimicking or something like that. And we said, yeah, why we don't use this idea? And in this case, we took inspiration from great renders from 3D artists. And we tried to tweak the backgrounds, the textures, the colors, the lights to make similar feelings. And once we did that, everything started to click. The project started to click, and everything felt right. And I will show you a recap of this process, and I want you to know that it was done in 6 weeks because of this collaboration. So and here's my takeaway from this, is that creativity often doesn't happen within the roles, but between them. So it is okay to work within disciplines, let go of your hat once in a while, and just collaborate in a team and just do what you can do best to contribute to that project. And the last principle is about craft. And what I mean by craft is to treat your work as a craft, to treat your work as if you are a watchmaker or something. Because the client will never give you a brief that will make your work remarkable. Most briefs stop at good enough, and there is no company that will tell you, okay, take 3 weeks to improve this thing just to let it sing. That doesn't happen so often in my experience. Where the brief stops, that's your cue to add your curiosity and ask questions. And I already hear your inner voice saying all the budget and the timeline and stuff. We are all living in that. I'm not living in a pink world. But there are things that we can do. Like in your next project, for example, you can take only one element, select one element, and push it further than anyone asked. Just make it your signature. To give you an example about that, earlier this year we got this request from a healthcare provider. They have this virtual healthcare application. If you are a customer of, say, Vodafone or some insurance company in certain parts of Europe, probably you are using their services. They have doctors on demand, dietitians, health coaches on demand from the phone. You can book consultancy and consult. And they asked, the ask was simple: fix our onboarding. Their onboarding is not good. We did what any one of you would do. We analyzed the process, we optimized it, we made a prototype for the onboarding, task is done. But then they kept asking us different questions. Help us sell this onboarding to our clients. Can you fix our booking process? Can you reduce our dropouts? And started to feel like there are all these tasks that are just patchworks. Are we solving the problem here? So we took a moment with the team and said, let's dive deep into this brand and see what they are standing for. And we went into their guidelines and branding guidelines. And this was their motto: empowering all people everywhere to live their healthiest life. That sounded great. I would like to work for that company. But is this product is it living up to that motto? It wasn't. So we offered them this. We will take 4 weeks of blue sky thinking. Just imagine your product, and we will come with a value that you can take away. Just a capsule of work. They gave us a green light, and we dive into the product. And we came after these processes, we came to this realization that the product vision was about this application, this box on your phone that you would click on when you are sick, when you are feeling sick. We said instead of that, we want this box to be the box that you click on to stay healthy, not when you are to click on it when you are sick. And that shift actually started to change everything. So we set experience pillars, how we would shape this experience. The hardest was trust, because trust is not something like you design a button and trust emerges. Trust doesn't happen like that. Trust needs to be earned. And for that, we for trust to happen, you need knowledge and consistency. If knowledge and consistency happens, trust can emerge later on. So we started designing all the components in that way. All the components in a relationship with the user, that they will change by time. Some would call this mutable UI, but we called it trust building relationship. For example, if you are new to the platform, I will invite you to browse some of the programs that we have. If you follow a program, if I know more about you, I will tell you which program you need to follow. If you are following a program, I will not clutter you with more programs. I will help you see through it before you start another program. And this approach changed the way that the client started to look at their product. And they fell in love with it. Instead of being this company that is providing A, B, C services, now they became this true health companion to the users. And now we are, like, out of that one task that we started, now we are set to develop this like this year and next year, to develop this application and to bring this vision to life. So to go back where I started, is that today we have more tools, more speed, more reach. We have everything that we can wish for. And yet this power also in the same time makes it easier for things to blend all together. The difference is not in the tools, but in how you use these tools to bring these good experiences to people. The experiments you do, the way you build, the way you work together, and how much you care about the details. So I would say to everyone, like, keep learning in public, play brave, Let go of your head once in a while. That's okay, that's good, and you will feel very good working in those projects. And remember that most briefs stop when the magic begins. So if you follow this, I believe that next time someone's scrolling through your work, they will stop, they will linger, and they will remember, and they will feel something. And that's my talk. Thank you.